Good morning to you, Jeff Lucas from Colorado, and welcome to Give Me Five, Jeff, this morning. Woo! Now, Jeff, and you too, Jeff. Jeff, you and I have known each other since we were teenagers. Same area, same church, same Bible college. But what I want to know is what is happening this week.
This week in my life. It's nice to see you, Jeannie. Yeah, we go back a long way. I mean, I think Henry VIII was on the throne when we were hanging out. But anyway, lots happening this week because I've got a new book that's just coming out this coming Monday called Singing in Babylon. It's about Daniel. And so this week I'm doing a lot of interviews, radio interviews back to the UK, and I'm speaking at Timberline Church this weekend. And it's been 15-hour days, actually. It's been really busy because when a book comes out, Jeannie, it doesn't just land in the shops, but you have to really work hard with all of the promotion of that. So yeah, it's a really busy week, but it's nice to have the opportunity to chat with you.
And you too, Jeff. And Jeff, there's been a lot of sadness since the pandemic first broke out. But what do you think lockdown and safe distancing, do you think it's been good for the Church of Jesus Christ or bad?
I think the answer to that is yes, in that it's both, Jeannie. I mean, it's obviously been horrible, and I feel particularly sad for those who are alone and who are really missing the handshakes and hugs of actually, people being together. And obviously, it goes without saying, but let's say that when we think of 100,000 deaths plus in the UK, it's just horrendous. It's horrible. And so there's no getting away from that. But in terms of the church in the early church who managed to get their message out, Jeannie, without printing presses, without TV or radio, and they didn't even have Facebook, so they couldn't take pictures of their breakfasts and then publish it. But they got the message out.
They did.
By serving during crisis, and particularly plagues, actually. So, I think we've seen the church in the UK, there's so many thousands of volunteers who serve, and then also the flexibility that the church has expressed. Churches where usually if you move the pews, someone might have got very, very upset, and suddenly they've had to be flexible and respond to the challenges and the opportunities. So I hope, Jeannie, that our churches won't go back to normal.
Me too.
And just say, oh, well, that's over now, so let's just get back to doing what we did before, which didn't work. But rather that we will take this as a creative opportunity to say, okay, in our church in Timberline in Colorado, we're saying, what don't we need to do anymore?
Brilliant.
Let me give you a little example.
Yes, please.
We probably won't be taking offerings anymore in our church.
Right.
People give online. There's a box at the back. We won't be passing the plate. We're saying, not sure we need to do that anymore. One tiny little thing. Yeah. But we're looking at everything and we're saying, how do we need to change? So that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I think you've got some good points there, actually, Jeff, definitely. And I would agree with you there that there has been some good things come out of bad at this sad time. Jeff, apart from the Bible, what is the book on your bedside table right now that you are reading? Jeff? Hello? Paul? Hello, Jeff? Paul?
Jeannie, you're breaking up a little bit there.
Okay.
Okay, I'm hoping that it's not breaking up your end. It broke up my end.
Did it break up your end? It was saying unstable. Okay, Jeff, we'll just carry on. I'll say that question again because Paul can piece it together. Is that okay? Are you there, Jeff? Jeff keeps breaking up. Okay. Oh, you're there. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Okay then.
So, you're asking me about the book on my bedside table, right?
Yeah. Tell us about the book that you are reading right now by your bedside table.
I'm actually reading two. One is about how the internet has affected our ability to read.
Oh, interesting.
There's a theory, Jeannie, that a lot of people are saying they're finding it difficult to finish complete books because we are used to doing life in paragraphs on Facebook or in 140 characters or less.
Right.
And without getting into the science, there's something called neuroplasticity, which means our brains adapt to the way we take in information. So I'm reading that, which sounds a little bit intense, and I probably need to get out more, but it's quite interesting. And then the other book, my favorite book apart from the Bible, is a book called The Wisdom of Pelicans. And it was written by a guy called Donald McCullough, who was a professor, a president of a very prestigious theological school here. And he made some very poor moral choices. He lost his marriage, he lost everything. And he sat on the beach and he watched the pelicans. It sounds a bit crazy, but as he did that, God used that kind of pilgrimage to really restore his soul. And so I've quoted Donald in a lot of my books, and actually we've been in connection with each other.
Brilliant.
And we've talked together. And when I read Donald McCullough, I want to actually give up writing because he is so brilliant. He's so good. So Donald McCullough, The Wisdom of Pelicans, it's an outstanding book.
Well, they both sound really good books to me. So, Jeff, you are very talented in a number of areas: music, writing, broadcasting, and preaching. So what is the central message that's contained in all those means of communication?
Well, I have to come back, Jeannie, and say one area where I am not talented is music. And I used to sing a bit with you.
We
I
did.
think the basic idea was that you sang louder and I sang softer. And I played the five chords that I knew, whereas I know that that Paul, your husband, is really, really, really talented musically when it comes to the guitar. So a little bit of disagreement there. But the key message that I want to bring across is that we are all broken.
Yes.
We are all under construction. None of us have arrived. We're all travelers, but the grace of God is there for us, not in the future, but right now, that God wants to use us broken, messed up people and get his will done through the earth. And really, Jeannie, my entire ministry, much of it has been birthed on me sharing the fact that I'm quite a bumbling idiot, really, but I just keep going. And God seems to have taken that and in a way that I never anticipated has enabled me to have really this sounds pretentious, but really a global reach with that. I mean, the book's coming out, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa,
Wonderful.
Europe here, and all of that. I don't say that to be pretentious, but it does speak. Really what I'm saying is that there seems to be a need for people to hear that message of God's grace in the midst of our brokenness. So sorry if that sounded a little bit braggy, because it wasn't intended that way. But I'm just saying that there is a need. And sometimes, Jeannie, people say to me, oh, that book or that sermon was a breath of fresh air. And I'm thinking, well, what kind of air are you breathing the rest of the time? We should be able to be real and authentic, shouldn't we? So
we should.
Anyway, that's the core message.
Well, I think that's a wonderful answer to your question there, Jeff. I really do. And I can see that the Lord is really using you globally. I really can. And when I think back to when we were teenagers all those years ago and what you were like then, I could tell some stories, but I better not. But
I could tell some stories as well.
Oh dear. Okay then. Well, swiftly moving on. Jeff, how many books have you actually written? And tell us about your
I've written full-length books. I've written 34.
Wow. And
then contributed to 3 or 4 others, and then a whole bunch of booklets and DVDs and different things. Yeah. So Brilliant. Quite a lot.
Yeah. So this new book, tell us a little bit more about that. When will it be coming out so that we can read it? Where can we buy it and your books?
It's called Singing in Babylon, Finding Purpose in Life's Second Choices. It's about Daniel, who spent his whole life, probably from around 12 to 15, he was deported to Babylon. He never went back to Jerusalem. So really, he spent his whole life in lockdown, Jeannie, in a sense. The idea of second choices are circumstances that come in our lives that we wouldn't choose. And we all have second choices where things go wrong at a trivial level or a tragic level,
Yes.
you know, and that happens to all of us, doesn't it?
Of course it does.
It's hard, you know,
Yes.
and if you don't mind me being personal for a moment.
No, not at all.
I remember, for example, your lovely mum
Yeah.
with great affection. You know, she was always, I can see her smile right now. Well, it would never have been your choice to lose her when you did. That's second choice.
That's right, Jeff. That's right. That's
we
being
all-
realistic.
Yeah, it is. And I think sometimes, though, Christians get the idea that if they just pray enough and read the Bible a lot, especially Leviticus first thing in the morning, that everything's going to be all right. And we actually say to young people, you know, we say, if you dream it, you can do it. But that's not true.
No.
I mean, I've got two grandsons now, Jeannie, and one of them really wants to play for Chelsea. And I say to him, you know, that's great. But the reality is 100,000 kids want to play for Chelsea, but they won't all do it.
Correct.
And so the idea of the book is to say, we all have second choices. What can we learn from Daniel about how we might thrive in the midst of those second choices? You asked about where you can get it from. You can get it from your local Christian bookstore. If there's someone that are doing a pick and collect or order and collect.
Brilliant.
You can get it from Amazon. It comes out on Monday, February the 1st. And it, which is, I don't know when you're putting this out, Jeannie, but anyway, it's available. People can pre-order it. And then eden.co.uk, it's available from all of those sources. So.
Yeah, that sounds really good. And I'm looking forward to reading this book, Jeff, because it sounds so interesting and really real. And that's what I like about you. You know, you're a realistic person as well, as much as you love the Lord. Jeff, I want to say thank you so much for this rock solid interview today. It's been absolutely wonderful, and I really appreciate you doing this interview, and it's lovely to see you again. And God bless you and Kay as you serve the Lord in your ministry. May he continue to use you and give you his love, joy, peace and strength as you serve him. Jeff, there's only one thing left for it. Give me five.
Jeannie, lovely to talk to you and
to you, Jeff.
I just got to say this.
Yes.
We go back a long way. You're looking younger than ever. So whatever you're taking, send me something. I could do with the help. Lots of love to you, Paul.
Thank you, and thank you, Jeff. You look great yourself. And Jeff, I have to say one thing. When we did sing together, I've still got one or two of those tapes back at my dad's.
Okay, the check's in the post. Whatever you do, you could ruin my life if you release those.
I'll let you hear it first. God bless, Jeff. Lovely to see you. God bless, my friend. Bye. Bye.